Yo, what's up, everybody? Yeah. Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. This is a quick UFC 251 breakdown, and I know you want to hear what Uncle Mike has to say. So I appreciate you guys for being here, for stepping in, and for joining me. Now, we know right now that UFC 251 is happening on Fight Island, as they say, in Abu Dhabi, on Yas Island in the United Arab Emirates. Very interesting, actually, location. And there's a lot of speculation about how this event actually came about. Some people are refuting Dana White's official statement that the UFC was renting an entire island. They were taking over the island and they were spending a bunch of money. As it appears, Abu Dhabi may actually be paying for the UFC to be there and might even be giving the UFC a fee for hosting the event on their island to help bring tourism. I don't care. Do you care? We don't care. Doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to me. From what I know, boots on the ground, athletes and coaches on the card, they're saying, Dolce, this is awesome. We love it. This is one of the best hosted events they've ever had. So kudos to the UFC and to Abu Dhabi for actually putting forth such an amazing event. It's actually really cool to see. But as I'm talking here, guys and gals, feel free to leave questions, leave comments in the live chat. And if you haven't yet, definitely bang, subscribe to this channel, give a thumbs up. And if you guys see this little bracelet right here, my 3-year-old daughter made this for me, and I am proudly wearing it all day for her. So I'm not really a jewelry guy, but anything a 3-year-old makes for me, of course, I will be wearing it. And of course, anything a 3-year-old writes for me as part of my script and talking points, as I'm looking here, I'll talk about it with you. But really, the fight everyone's talking about is Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman. Jorge Street Jesus, as they're now calling him, but we know him officially as Gamebred Masvidal, and Kamaru Usman, the Nigerian Nightmare. Now, we all know that Usman is a stud. And let me pull up Usman's record here. I just want to briefly give you a little highlight into Usman's pedigree before we break down and compare that very briefly with that of Jorge Masvidal. So Usman is 16-1. His first and only loss happened 7 years ago in 2013 versus Jose Casares in the CFA. And let's just take a look at Jose here real quick. Jose Casares, 15-9. We could call him a bit of a journeyman fighter, lots of ups and downs. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a tough dude right there. But Usman went on to win his next 14 fights. And let's talk about the fights he had inside the UFC. He goes on to beat Haider Hassan, Leon Edwards, Alexander Vakovalev, Warley Alves, Sean Strickland, Sergio Moraes, Emil Musk, Damian Maia. Now, remember, Maia fought Anderson Silva for the 185-pound middleweight world title. Rafael Dos Anjos, UFC lightweight world champion. Tyron Woodley, UFC welterweight world champion. Colby Covington, UFC welterweight interim champion. 1, 2, 3, 4 victories, 4 consecutive victories over 4 legitimate title holders. Now, Usman has actually defended his belt once versus Covington, and now he's defending it for a second time versus Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal, let's briefly look at his record. Remember, Usman 16-1. Masvidal now 35-13. Masvidal's last loss happened in 2017 versus Stephen Thompson, and also another loss in 2017 versus Damian Maia. We look at Masvidal's UFC record. Masvidal has a lot more experience than Usman. Masvidal beat Tim Means. He beat Mike Chiesa. He lost to Rustem Kabalov. He beat Pat Healy, beat Darren Krushank, beat James Krause. Krause is a stud. Lost to Al Iaquinta, beat Cesar Ferreira, mutant. Lost to Ben Henderson. Lost to Lorenz Larkin. Beat Ross Pearson, beat Jake Ellenberger, beat Donald Cerrone. Then he lost to Damian Maia, lost to Stephen Thompson. But he did beat Darren Till, Ben Askren, and Nate Diaz. As I'm looking through, we'll give Ben Askren a world champion moniker because Ben Askren held the Bellator welterweight world title and the ONE FC world title. All right. So Ben Askren was legit, especially when he came into the game. Ben Askren was up there. But outside of that, Masvidal has fought top talent, but not always beat the top talent and wasn't always at the top. Does that matter? Well, this is what we're going to talk about briefly right now. Now, make sure you subscribe to this channel once again. Bang, bang. Give this video a thumbs up. And remember, the bicep of truth will never lie or steer you wrong. As we're looking at this, and I want to see the betting odds for you, and just to make sure Uncle Mike is correct with his thoughts. So the betting odds right now, as it seems, this one is a clickbait title, so we're going to stay away from that one, and we'll go over here and look at my bookie as it's loading. So what do we have? We have Kamaru, Usman, Jorge Masvidal. So Usman is the favorite at -235. What does that mean? That means you have to bet $235 on Kamaru Usman in order to win $100 back. Masvidal is +175. What does that mean? That means you bet $100 on Masvidal, you get $175 back. Is Masvidal a good bet? Well, on paper, he's pretty good. In reality, let's discuss this. This is a tough fight for Masvidal, in my opinion. Why is it? For a few reasons. Usman had been in training camp for over 8 weeks, closer to 10 weeks, knowing he was going to be fighting in early July. Usman knew and was training for a 25-minute world title fight for over 2 months. Masvidal had no such date. Masvidal was not training for a world title fight, though he was training. Masvidal is in the gym. A lot of people talk smack about Jorge Masvidal, which makes no sense, in that Masvidal is a gym guy. Masvidal is in the gym. Masvidal is training. I know Masvidal. I worked with Masvidal earlier in his career, a few years back. I was at American Top Team for quite a long period of time working with other athletes. Masvidal was one of the first guys in the gym, last guys to leave. Masvidal was always in the gym. Masvidal was in the gym as often as the grappling mats were in the gym. Almost every time you'd show up to the gym, you'd see George training. Everything. Well-rounded. He's a true mixed martial artist. He doesn't get the credit for that because of the current persona. And most of the UFC noobs out there, they haven't followed the sport long enough to know Masvidal's true pedigree. This is a fight anywhere, anytime kind of guy. Now, Masvidal has a little bit of a lifestyle issue. And I only say a lifestyle issue in that his diet was notoriously terrible, but he would still compete at a very high level. Although when we look at his record, he's got 35 wins and 13 losses, right? That percentage-wise isn't even close to what Usman's is. Usman's 16-1. Masvidal is 35-13. We could say Usman, looking at the percentage, would be 32-2 to Masvidal's 35-13. Or, we can continue on. I'm not going to, blow that up too much. the caliber of competition Usman has fought recently is higher than that of Masvidal. Masvidal has more experience fighting better guys for longer, though, than Usman has. Masvidal has 30, 48, nearly 3 times the ring experience than Usman does. That's going to matter. That is definitely going to matter in this fight. But Usman has more recent experience at the highest level, fighting for world titles, right? Usman fought Colby Covington, who is a cardio machine. Tyron Woodley, who is a heavy hitter. Rafael dos Anjos, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu standout black belt. Damian Maia, black belt. Once again, the greatest submission artist in the UFC, I think, is Damian Maia, certainly high on that list. So we got to say that I think Masvidal has the 5-round advantage over that. Usman has the 5-round advantage over Masvidal at the moment. But Masvidal has the length of career advantage over Usman, which makes this very interesting. Usman's been training harder, longer than Masvidal has. That's important. Usman is known to be a cardio conditioning machine. My podcast today, the Mike Dolce Show podcast, on iTunes, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on Google Play. The Mike Dolce Show audio podcast is with Dr. Corey Peacock, Kamaru Usman's strength and conditioning coach. Dr. Peacock breaks down what he did with Kamaru Usman to get him ready and said Usman was ready for this fight 3 weeks out. Usman was already in shape 3 weeks out. Why is that a big deal? That's a big deal because at 3 weeks out, Usman and the team can then start to deload, be much more precise, where Masvidal really had to ramp up once he knew the fight was coming about a week or so out, 10 days or so out, when Gilbert Durinho Burns got pulled from the card for a COVID positive test. Durinho gets pulled off the card. Masvidal gets slipped in. They negotiate for 2 days or so, and Masvidal immediately, world title fight. Now, he's already in the gym. He's already training. But is he training for a 25-minute world title fight versus Kamaru Usman? Likely not. Is he in the gym? Is he sharp? Yes. Is he in shape? Yes. Is he in 25-minute world title fight versus Kamaru Usman shape? That's what we're going to have to see tomorrow night, July 11th at UFC 251. And this is the gray area, ladies and gentlemen. This is the issue. Will Masvidal be able to deal with the intensity of Kamaru Usman for 25 minutes? Will Masvidal be able to get Usman out of there in the first 2 rounds? Because I think this fight, the first 2 rounds, I'm going to give Masvidal the advantage. As this fight continues on, though, you have to tip the scales towards Kamaru Usman. Because I'm looking at the career, I'm looking at what he's done. He TKO'd Colby Covington 4 minutes into the 5th round. 29 minutes or 24 minutes into a 25-minute fight, Kamaru Usman knocked out Colby Covington, who had never been knocked out before, in a action-packed, high conditioning, obvious fight. He ground out Tyron Woodley over 25 minutes, wrestled him almost the entire time. That is exhausting. Exhausting. A 25-minute mixed martial arts fight primarily spent wrestling. Exhausting. Against Tyron Woodley. I've trained with Woodley. Woodley is a stud, man. Woodley's strong. Woodley's a great wrestler. He's in great shape. And Usman made Woodley look like an amateur in that fight. No disrespect to Woodley. He had a 5-round fight versus Rafael dos Anjos. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. and beat him in a unanimous, dominant decision. A 5-round fight versus Damian Maia and beat him in a unanimous, dominant decision. So what does that mean? 1, 2, 3, 4. Kamaru Usman's last 4 fights since 2018 have been 5-round grinds. Grueling grinds. And Usman has came out on top every single time. Every single time. That's as a coach, as a strength coach, as a former competitor, as a fan of the sport, as an insider. And a lot of the things I'm saying, guys and gals, it's as an insider. I'm friends with both teams. I know both guys. I know a lot of the people around them. I know a lot of the people on Yas Island right now. I have a lot of connections. This phone right here is filled with compelling information, maybe even videos and photos. So, all that being said, this is an interesting fight. Again, I give the first 2-round advantage, though, to Masvidal. Masvidal has some big wins. Let's say he has a 2016 finished Jake Ellenberger. 2017 finished Ellenberger first round. 2017 finishes Donald Cerrone in the second round. 2019 finishes Darren Till in the second round. 2019 again, flying knee finishes Ben Askren in the first round. And then 2019 November finishes Nate Diaz in the third round of a 5-round fight. Masvidal has that early finishing power that Usman hasn't quite shown recently. Usman is a beast. The Nigerian Nightmare, that's a name for many reasons. But if you look through Usman's fights, the majority of Usman's wins are decisions, dominant decisions, but decisions nonetheless. Therefore, Uncle Mike is giving the advantage to Masvidal in the first 2 rounds. And then I think the scale dramatically tips towards Usman in rounds 3, rounds 4, rounds 5. That's where this fight really, really gets interesting here. But a lot can go wrong for any competitor. A lot can go right for any competitor. That's what makes this a very compelling fight. Now, let me answer a few of your questions as we go here. And guys and gals, remember, click thumbs up on this channel. Engage with me. Let me know you're there. Let me know you care. I appreciate that. And if you appreciate this content, just subscribe to this channel. If you don't like what the future videos, and we have many coming up, just unsubscribe down the road. I of course, I wouldn't want you to subscribe to this channel if you don't appreciate it, but give me a chance. That would be very kind of you. Now, Uber Ride says Usman claimed on Embedded that he had sleeping issues on the plane upon arrival in Abu Dhabi. How far can talent take Usman until the lack of proper rest hinder him in 5 rounds? Uber Ride, every single athlete has the same issue. I've jumped time zone dozens and dozens of times with athletes competing. We understand that. Here's the thing. Usman is better prepared for the time zone jump than Masvidal because Usman's been planning for it. Usman's higher level of conditioning will drive him farther than Masvidal's, simply because Masvidal didn't have the time in camp. So I think this is a wash. I don't think that's an issue. I think both guys will be dealing with the exact same thing. J3 says, you are the man, Mr. Dolce. I appreciate that. Thank you. Michael's all right. What's up, Mike? Thanks for the great videos with even greater knowledge. Michael, I appreciate that. Thank you. I am here to just deliver value to you guys in every way that I can. So thank you for being here. David Jenkins. Hey, Mike, I'm a new sub. Thank you, David. Thank you. I'm so sorry if you already answered this question, but what made you decide to leave Las Vegas for the East Coast? Appreciate your work, my friend, and wish you the best. Because I bought a beach house. I bought a beach house, baby. I live on the beach. I fall asleep to the sound of waves crashing on the shore and the smell of salt air. That's why. Because I went to Las Vegas. I went to the West Coast with a goal in mind, a very specific goal. Anyone who follows me, anyone who knows I am a goal setter, a goal getter. We get it done. I set goals. Now, I could have failed miserably, absolutely. And I failed hundreds of times along the way in achieving my ultimate goals, to which I had achieved. So I was able to build a business, build a life for myself and my family that I envisioned in my mind 15 years ago. Now, little aside, and some of you know, and I'm not going to waste time, but I was once homeless as a teenager. I lived in my car while still in high school. My childhood home was knocked down and turned into a parking lot. Okay. I lived in a house with no heat, no electricity, no running water. I used to do my schoolwork sitting on my front porch because the light of the street lamp would give me enough light to do my homework. And that home in that town was then taken from us, foreclosed because we were in poverty, foreclosed, knocked down, turned into a parking lot. And I didn't let that define me. In fact, I let that fuel me. And then we fast forward 15 years, more than 15 years, actually. No, 15 years. And I bought a beach house right down the street from the very same home that was knocked down. And every day I walk or ride my bike by that same house and I pull a leaf off the tree that was out front. Every single day I go by and there's this big tree and it has these beautiful leaves, and I'll take a tree on my walk and I'll just hold the tree and I'll rub it in my hand and I'll remember where I came from, what I had to endure, what I had to do in order to bring my family back. So that's what I did. I went to Las Vegas. I went to Portland, Oregon, Southern California, and mostly in Las Vegas to build my business, build my brand, to over-deliver value to a community to the point that I was able to earn a living for myself and live a cash flow positive life, never in debt, no loans, no leases, no mortgages, nothing. And I bought a home for cash, mind you, because the home that I grew up in had 2 mortgages on it and was taken from us, taken by the banks, which I can't blame the banks because my family couldn't afford to pay, right? They couldn't afford to pay. The home was taken away and I was left homeless. So that's why I moved back. But I moved back to raise my kids. I raised my family, my young children in a town that I absolutely love. So that's a little longer piece of the story, but that's 100% true. I don't want to go too deep into that here on this conversation. Maybe I'll do another show on it down the road, and I'm happy to answer any future questions about that journey for anyone who has questions. Of course, I am an open book here for you guys. But I appreciate you, David, for being a new sub. Thank you. Joe Grind, Masvidal is more of a natural fighter and Usman more of an athlete. Not sure if the summation is correct. Have we seen Usman in a bad spot? You know, Joe, that's actually a great way to look at it. And I would say George St. Pierre is a great athlete, maybe not the great fighter, right? George St. Pierre, great athlete. Carlos Condit, great fighter. George won. When you look at a great fighter and a great athlete, I will usually lean towards the great athlete in organized competition. Now, I will say that I've seen Masvidal train, and I will say Masvidal is a great athlete for sure. Masvidal is a great fighter. Usman is a great fighter also, and he's just getting better. So I think I agree with what you're saying, but I think both of these individuals have now grown to be very well-rounded. Dope King says, Cuban power. Hell yeah. I love the Cuban community. I'm often actually mistaken when I get my hair kind of cut and lined up. Everybody thinks I'm Cuban, which I take as a compliment. Joe Grind, Woodley kept backing up and had nothing to offer than power punch. Joe, I agree. And that's because, and I alluded to it, but didn't go deep into it because of Usman's pressure. Usman's pressure is hellacious, and you don't quite know unless you've been in there with someone like that. God forbid you've been in there with Usman, but you don't quite know that pressure until you feel that pressure, that energy, that intensity. And Woodley said it was really hard to deal with that simply because he didn't have anyone to do that to him in training. Woodley's the pressure guy. And I've trained with Woodley before. We've done dozens of rounds together in the early days of Team Quest when Woodley was just starting out. Woodley's a pressure guy, always threatening with the wrestling and the big power in the hands. Usman did that to Woodley. That's something I don't think Masvidal is going to fall for or care about. Right? I think Masvidal, simply because of what I said earlier, Masvidal has the experience to have been there against athletes like that before. Michael Zarat says Usman wins in 5 rounds. Masvidal wins in 5 seconds. Boom. I like that. That's quotable right there. Chris Jackson, Mike, I'm a beginner. Can I grow muscle with home workouts, push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, etc.? Don't know where to start with the weights in the gym. Love your content. Chris, absolutely you can, especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning of your training, you can put on a ton of muscle doing body weight conditioning exercises. Look at gymnasts. Look at the body of gymnasts, male and female. They very rarely train with weights, but look at those physiques. Now, if you put them in clothes and put them side by side with someone the same age, the same height, that doesn't do gymnastics, but only trains with barbells and dumbbells, that barbell and dumbbell person is going to look bigger. They're going to fill out those clothes, but you take the clothes off and you're going to be holy. You're going to swear the gymnast is bigger. So I will say, definitely enjoy that body weight exercise now that you can, while you can, but slowly start to scale and add resistance. Mike O'Brien, what's up, my man? I got big money on Game Bread and Rose. Bam. Grayson, so hilarious hearing the mainstream media make a giant deal out of Masvidal's weight cut, especially since Usman goes through the same hell every time he makes 170. Agree, Grayson. I agree with you. And that was just clickbait. That was fake news. They were trying to pull in the ball sport noobs, as I call them, the casual ESPN subscribers who don't really understand the sport just yet. They think 20 pounds in a week, that's impossible. He's going to die. But those of us combat sports fans were like, Rose Namajunas was probably cutting 20 pounds to make 115. King Hat, my brother, what's up, man? Coach Mike, great video. As always, enjoy the fights tomorrow and those peanut butter cookies, my brother, you know. Ooh, I can't wait to get home and eat some of those. Chris Jackson, also, do you think Johnny Hendricks had a lack of discipline throughout his career? Love him, but I feel he totally let himself down. Could have achieved a lot more. Again, your content is so sick. Chris Jackson, thank you for that. I'm so dedicated to providing the best possible content that we can for you guys, whether it's here on our growing YouTube channel, whether it's on our more established The Mike Dolce Show audio podcast on iTunes, on Spotify, on Stitcher, Google Play. Please subscribe to The Mike Dolce Show podcast. The 1,200 free articles we have for you guys at thedolcediet.com. And also, I'll mention right now, go to thedolcediet.com right now and get the 4-week or 12-week online personalized diet and exercise program. Get in the best shape of your life and use my private personal promo code SHREDDED to save 30%. You will not hear about that anywhere else. That's not promoted anywhere. I'm giving that only to you guys right now, today only. Promo code SHREDDED at thedolcediet.com to get in the best shape of your life. It's like setting the GPS to your ideal body with a 100% money back guarantee. Promo code SHREDDED. Use that. But Chris, yes, I do think Johnny underperformed his potential due to poor lifestyle choices. Johnny was such an amazing talent, such an amazing athlete, 2-time NCAA Division I national champion. Come on. You want to talk about genetic talent. You don't win the NCAAs being a chump. Johnny won it twice, and then he won the UFC world title. Right? I mean, come on, give Johnny all the credit he deserves for sure. But Johnny could have been one of the most dominant champions in UFC history if he lived the lifestyle that he should have, in my opinion, of course. Beezus, beautiful story. I appreciate that, Beezus. Thank you. What does your children meals look like? What the pie chart of nutrients for them? Earth-grown foods, whole foods. Go to my Instagram page right now, the Dolce Diet on Instagram. My 3-year-old is actually baking cookies for me right now. Peanut butter, honey, flaxseed, and whole eggs. That's it. Those are the only ingredients. That's what my kids eat. My kids eat totally normal food. They eat cookies. They eat cake. But we bake it, we make it, or we get the super high quality versions. So my kids don't eat all the processed crap that's out there in the world. They're not eating Hershey bars and Sour Patch Kids. I don't even know what the crap is out there. My kids eat earth-grown foods, just like you and I do, just like I tell you, just like our world-class athletes do. But we just make it in fun, different ways. We'll make cold-pressed juices. We'll put them into little popsicle sticks. We'll freeze it, and then they're out there. They're eating cold-pressed beet and beet and carrot and chia seed blended up popsicle sticks. They're fucking delicious. My kids are like, these are the if I gave you one of my kids' icy popsicles, I forget what they call them. They're like the circle pop or their square pop is kind of what they call them. If I gave you one of those and then gave you a good humor pop, you throw up after licking the good humor pop because it tastes so gross by comparison. It's just better. It tastes better. We make sure everything we feed our kids tastes better than all the synthetic toxic crap that's out there and is so much more healthy for them. Grayson, do you have a favorite trainer certification course? Yes, the Dolce Diet certification course is our favorite. We are NSCA approved, NASM approved, AFAA approved. We are one of the most respected, the most revered certification courses in the world. We have coaches, certified coaches around the world. The Dolce Diet Certification and Fitness Conference is a 3-day event. The next event will be coming up in August, so keep your ears open. You're going to hear about it next week. I think on Tuesday, we're going to announce on our Instagram page the next event. We're going to open the pre-registration. I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend you come through, you take our course, you get certified by us. It will open so many doors for you. Plus, you get all of the benefit that our brand lends itself. When you say you are a Dolce Diet certified coach, people stop and listen. You're not just another personal trainer out there, right? There's a much higher level of specificity and respect with ours. Boom Coil, how much do you think Jorge will weigh once he's rehydrated in the octagon? See someone from Usman's team saying that Usman will be at least 190. Yeah, George will probably be anywhere between, I think, 86 and 92. He won't put all his weight on, but he will put most of his weight back on. Usman will be the bigger guy in the cage. Usman will probably walk around, I would say, with 8 to 12 pounds of lean muscle tissue on his frame compared to George, because Usman is naturally leaner. They're both about the same weight. They're both about 190-pound guys normally, but Usman has a considerably lower total body fat percentage, which means he has higher total muscle mass. And I think that will matter, especially in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round when it comes to that body on body pressure that Usman will bring. Now, Jorge has the answers to that for sure. I've seen Jorge train. Jorge's been in deep waters before, for sure, but we've seen 13 other men beat Jorge Masvidal in competition. We've only seen it happen to Usman once, and that was the 2nd fight of his career. So, and this isn't me picking favorites at all. I'm better friends with Masvidal, of course, than I am with Usman, and better friends with Masvidal's team than I mean, I like all Usman's guys and whatnot. I really like both these guys, right? So I'm not emotionally affiliated. I think this is a great fight, and I hope both these guys are making, upwards of $2 million each. But at the same time, when we look at the data points, we've seen a few different ways that we've seen 13 ways Masvidal can lose. We've only seen one way Usman can lose. That matters when you're looking at fights, because until it happens, it's just speculation, right? So you have to keep that in mind. Beezus says, how much worse is business for bathroom nutritionists with COVID and now the relocation of at least half of the UFC events in Abu Dhabi? That's a great point. They're terrible. All of them are suffering. They're not making any money. They're not making any money. They all wish that they were Uncle Mike right now. Let me tell you that much. They wish that they lived the life that I did. They had the financial practices that I did. They had the business ethics that I do, the brand, the reputation that we have, that they treated their team with the same honor that we continue to treat our team. Remember, we paid our team 100% of their salary, of their fees during the entire COVID epidemic, while dropping our rates 50%. Who else did that? We paid every single person we cut paychecks to 100% of their normal pay, every single paycheck. Not one person on our team received 1 penny less than they normally do, but we cut our fees across the board by 50% or more to make sure you guys had access to the same world-class health and fitness content during those tough times. None of them could do that. They're all looking for those, government handouts and such, and most of them closed their doors and had to jump into other aspects of life. So, a few good guys out there. Tyler Mitten's one of the guys out there that I really do like. There's a few others, of course, but the ones that I certainly don't like. All right, guys and gals, that is it. It is time for Uncle Mike to go. I appreciate this. Remember, if you haven't yet, bang, bang, just give this video a thumbs up. Engage with us so I know you're there. I know you care. A little engagement really goes a long way to help this channel. If you don't, that's fine. Maybe next time you will, if I can, do a better job delivering value to you guys. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, give me a chance to hopefully earn your respect, and give you continued value. If you don't like it, if any of you don't like the channel, feel free to unsubscribe. I only want you to subscribe if you want to be here, but I ask, give me the opportunity to earn your trust, earn your respect. Subscribe so you see the videos that come through. If you like the videos, please stay. If you don't like the videos, please unsubscribe, but send me a comment that Dolce, I don't like this, that, or the other thing, and let me know. So give me an opportunity to do better. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to deliver value, to help you in any way that I can. That's my goal here. So I appreciate each and you for being there. And until next time, boom.